There's never been a puzzle quite like Rubik's Cube, and America may never be the same. A medical journal has written about a unique phenomenon, Rubik's Thumb. A museum recognized it as a work of art. Rubik's Cube has been involved in divorce proceedings.
Ah, the Rubik's Cube. Never has there been a puzzle more engaging, more maddening, and more popular than any other toy on the market. 6 multicolored sides of 9 squares each, able to be rotated on a variety of axes to hopelessly scramble the colors. The initial goal is, of course, to return the cube to its original state. The cube was invented by Hungarian professor of architecture Erno Rubik in 1974. Originally, the cube was intended as a learning tool for his classes, focusing on the nature of positioning a shape in 3 dimensions.
I was lecturing architecture and construction. And for the students, the best way to teach them is to show them what to do. So I was interested about to create something that is mobile, simple, and contains some kind of task.
The other challenge for Rubik in designing the cube was to create a mechanism that would allow the sides of the cube to move freely without the whole thing falling apart. Oh, and for the record, it took him a full month to solve the cube once he had initially scrambled it. The original cube was made out of wood and held together with rubber bands. When Rubik saw how fascinated his classes were with the cube, he realized that the design would be fairly easy to duplicate for mass production and set about getting a patent. Once that was secure, Rubik took the design to a maker of plastic chess pieces, and the original Magic Cube became available in stores in Hungary. A businessman who had seen sales of the cube got Rubik's permission to take it to Germany's Nuremberg Toy Fair in 1979. It was then noticed by Tom Kramer, founder of toy design company 7 Towns, who licensed the cube and helped broker a deal with Ideal Toys. After the debut, Ideal felt the name Magic Cube was too generic, and honestly, with the satanic panic running around at the time, didn't really want to tie anything to magic too closely. And while development was stalled to meet Western safety and packaging standards, several new names, such as Inca Gold and the Gordian Knot, were tried and rejected. Ideal wanted a name that stood out, and ultimately the cube was renamed after its inventor, becoming the Rubik's Cube. Initial sales of the cube were low, but Ideal invested in a massive marketing campaign and most notably a series of TV commercials which are enough concentrated 80s to give you death by cheese.
Sure, Sir Isaac Newton unraveled the mysteries of gravity, but could he have unraveled the mysteries of Rubik's Cube? 3 weeks ago, Judge Smith retired to her chambers with Exhibit A, Rubik's Cube. She hasn't been seen since. Warning, once you get your hands on Rubik's Cube, you may never be able to put it down. Rubik's Cube, over 3 billion combinations, but just one solution from Ideal.
With this campaign, the United States went nuts for the Rubik's Cube. It became one of the biggest fads of the early 80s, appearing everywhere in the news, on the cover of Scientific American, in the Museum of Modern Art, and even spawning a Saturday morning cartoon.
Hello, my name is Rubik.
Rubik the Amazing Cube was a one-season wonder of 13 episodes produced by Ruby Spears Entertainment. Essentially, Rubik is a sentient cube with a variety of magic powers at his disposal, which result in shenanigans with the Rodriguez siblings. But Rubik only comes to life and has his powers when he's solved. If he's scrambled, he's useless. Yeah, this is a concept which just, even for the 80s, was kinda out there. Solving the cube, of course, sounded easier than it was. The commercial stated there were 3 billion combinations but only one solution. Both of these statements are untrue. Mathematically, a standard 3x3x3 Rubik's Cube has over 43 quintillion possible color combinations. As far as solutions, there are several methods used to solve the cube with a various number of moves. In 2010, it was mathematically proven that any configuration of a Rubik's Cube can be solved in 20 moves. Naturally, solving the cube was only the beginning for most fans. Once they had figured out a solution, the challenge then became to find out how fast it could be done. This led to the rise of what has become known as speed cubing. Speed cubers soon rose to prominence, with the first Guinness World Record holder for fastest time to solve a Rubik's Cube happening in Munich on March 13, 1981. The first record holder established was Juri Froshi, with a solve time of 38 seconds. Now the current world's record holder as of December 2016 is Felix Zemdegs of Australia with a solve time of 4.76 seconds. The Rubik's Cube craze inspired Ideal to do more with the brand. In 1981, Ideal licensed a design by Peter Saturday80s of a 4x4x4 cube, which was almost called the Saturday80s cube until Ideal decided to capitalize on their earlier success and released it under the more catchy name of Rubik's Revenge.
So they want a puzzle that's harder than the original Rubik's Cube. Well, here's one they'll call Rubik's Revenge. This revenge is a masterpiece. Just being able to solve one side will be a real challenge. Two sides are almost impossible. And all six will be the ultimate revenge.
Rubik's Revenge, sent to you with love from Idea.
Other variants on the cube include the 2x2x2 Pocket Cube and the 5x5x5 Professor's Cube. There are other larger cubes available, but these are largely made by other companies, most notably the V-Cube line of larger cube puzzles. Professor Rubik's patent on the original cube expired in 2000, thus opening the door for manufacturers to make their own cubes. However, Rubik's Brand Limited currently holds the trademark on the name Rubik and variants thereof as pertains to the cube, so other manufacturers have to market their cubes under different names. Like all fads though, the craze for the cube died out by 1983 and sales plummeted. There were some delayed sales in China and Russia, while the cube and other products marketed under the Rubik's name were still produced throughout the 80s and 90s. It wasn't until the early 2000s that the cube came back into vogue. In 2008, it was estimated that 15 million cubes had been sold that year. Add all the sales from the original 80s craze to all the other sales afterward, and there's been an estimated 350 million Rubik's cubes sold all over the world. The first Speedcuber competition since 1982 was held in 2003, and speedcubing quickly became popular, causing the formation of the World Cube Association, who now oversees all official speedcubing competitions. Even Rubik's Brand Limited has embraced speedcubing. The official Rubik's website offers a special speed cube colored with tiles rather than stickers, which has adjustable tension of the inner springs to the speedcuber's liking. You can even purchase a special lubricant for the mechanism called, I kid you not, Rubik's Lube. And it's not just humans getting into the act. The world's record for a machine solving a Rubik's Cube is currently an astonishing 0.637 seconds by a robot called Sub1 as of November 9th, 2016. 6 colors, 43 quintillion possible combinations, millions of fans all over the world, and a name which has gone down in pop culture history as being synonymous with smarts. And it all started with one architecture professor trying to figure out how to make the sides of a simple cube turn without breaking. I'm Aaron Mills. Join me again next week for another edition of Saturd80s.
Happy cubing.